You keep starting over, new week, new plan, maybe even a completely new planner, and somehow you end up in the exact same place you were 3 months ago. I know I have been there before. Now, here's the part that no one is talking about, and that it's not that you have a motivation problem, because you're probably thinking that you need to try harder, but that's not going to fix it. And what I want to show you today in this video is the actual cost of losing focus, because most women actually don't even realize how much it's taking from them and their future best self, spiritually, emotionally, and practically. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to see your last 3 months completely differently. I promise you. And you're going to know exactly what to do about your next 12 months that are coming up. So welcome back to the Purpose Minded Woman channel. I'm Talana, and on this channel, I have great joy in talking about purpose and productivity through the lens of stewardship. Because my assignment is to help Christian women steward their lives with holy focus. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what the Bible actually says about where your focus goes, the 4 real reasons you keep losing momentum, and why trying harder is never on the list, okay? And what focused stewardship looks like in real practice, not as chaos and overwhelm, but really as a lifestyle of stewardship. Because the Bible says in Proverbs 16:3, commit your works to the Lord and your thoughts will be established. Now, first of all, I want you to notice the order of it. It says commit first and establishment follows. Most women are praying for clarity while living a scattered life, asking God for direction and clarity while simultaneously saying yes to everything that someone asks of them. I have absolutely been there before. And you can change this in your life because you're trying to build 3 visions at once, reacting to whatever is the loudest rather than with intentionality, stewarding what God has actually assigned to you in this season. And here is the part that I cannot say out loud enough. Focus is actual spiritual. It becomes spiritual warfare in your life. Whatever consistently holds your attention, that is exactly what gets built. What you focus on is the thing that grows. And what you focus on shapes the woman that you are becoming. And over here, we love to call that becoming a steward well woman, because the enemy does not always need to destroy you outright. Sometimes he just needs to keep your attention so scattered that you don't even know what's going on in your life, scattered long enough that you never really fully build what God has given to you. Distraction is actually a strategy that the enemy uses, and it works unless we are intentional about guarding where our minds go each and every day. The Bible says in Proverbs 4:26, give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Careful thought, steadfast. That is not like accidental living. That is stewarded living. And that's where we're trying to get to, because over 20 years ago, God told me I would be doing this work, yet for years, I was caught in a constant cycle of distractions, stopping and starting, doubting and delaying what God had told me to do. I followed the advice from productivity experts who didn't understand my journey until I realized the truth. My path to purpose and productivity really required me aligning with God's design for my life, not someone else's blueprint. God started making me aware of the habits and patterns in my own life that were holding me back from fully focusing on His vision. And now, listen, I cannot unsee it, okay? These are the patterns that I saw in myself first, that I see in other women. These are the specific reasons that we keep losing focus. So let's get into these 4 reasons, because I want you to actually be able to identify yourself in one or even a combination and see which ones have been running your entire life. Because a lot of what we call overwhelm is actually a pile of unmade decisions. And so that is point number 1. Everything in your life feels so equally important. Every role, every request, every responsibility. And it is demanding the same urgency from you. And you just cannot function like that. But everything isn't yours to carry. God never said so. We constantly pick up things that God never told us to. Some things are distractions dressed up as opportunities. Some things are outdated seasons that you never officially closed in your life. Some things are even fear based upon obligations you said yes to out of guilt, not your calling. Some things are just simply noise that never got invited in and never got sent back out. And the enemy is banking on you not to pay attention, because you cannot focus when your life has no filters. The overwhelm you feel is not really about your workload. It's often your unmade decisions sitting in your brain, taking up all of this mental space and just draining your attention, keeping everything in a constant state of unresolved. And when things are unresolved in your life, you make decision making hard because no clarity is going to follow that. It is often unmade decisions sitting in your brain, taking up all of that mental space, draining your attention, keeping everything in a constant state of being unresolved. But listen, when you make decisions, clarity actually follows. But when you keep deferring it, everything competes and nothing in your life wins. And that's why it keeps on feeling like you're constantly starting and stopping and not having the success in your life the way that you expected to. Point number two, you are addicted to the restart. I'm gonna put my hand up for this one because that is definitely me. This one I will say with full love, but most of us are so addicted to the feeling of starting fresh. The new planner, the new routine, the new month, the new strategy. June is just around the corner. And listen, every June I would buy a new planner and say, oh, it's mid year. I need something new. Listen, there is something emotionally satisfying about the clean slate, right? But the problem is you cannot build anything on a slate you wipe clean every week, week after week. Consistency is not built on emotional highs. It is built through systems. And that's what I love. Small repeated actions create momentum. Momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates consistency. And consistency over time creates fruit. Focus creates fruit. But none of that happens if you keep abandoning the process before anything else gets to take root. Fruit doesn't grow overnight, and God never said the transformation that you want to see in your life was going to happen overnight. And so here's my point number three, you have vision without structure. This is a pattern that I see. I saw it in myself and I see it in so many purpose driven women. You're spiritually connected, but practically disorganized. You have a calling. You can feel it. You have vision. You can describe it, but your week has no structure to hold that vision. So the vision stays in your journal. It gets prayed over, it gets talked about, but never actually moves. You cannot sustain purpose without structure in your life. Your focus needs boundaries. Your goals needs rhythm and routines. Your calling needs systems. Otherwise, your life becomes reactive instead of intentional. I want you to take a moment to think about Nehemiah. God gave him an assignment, rebuild the wall, but God didn't hand it to him. He didn't say, here's the vision. Now you figure it out, Nehemiah. He gave him a people, a plan, a process, and he even gave him protection for that season. God isn't opposed to structure. He actually invented it. We see it from the beginning of the creation story. The first thing God did in the creation was bring order to chaos. He is calling you to do the same exact thing in your life, your week, and in your season. But before I give you the fourth point, I want to pause for just one moment. If what you have been hearing is resonating with you, if you know that you need real structure, real routines, and focused stewardship, I want to invite you into something special that I am building for Christian women. We are opening our next 12-week LEAP bootcamp cycle inside of the Steward Well Life community beginning on June 1st. This is not a course that you just sit in and consume information. This is a cycle you actually live in. Accountability, implementation, structure built around your real life. It's the blueprint that I talked about for you personally. You were created to steward well, and you don't have to build alone. The link to join is in the description below. Now let's go ahead and finish this teaching. Point four that I want to make is that isolation is so expensive. When nobody knows your goals, when nobody checks on your progress, when nobody notices you quietly disappearing, it becomes very easy to drift. I want you to think about the days when you were back in school. We have been conditioned to need this type of accountability from when we were children in school, when there was that expectation for us to hand in our homework or study for a test. There was always someone saying, are you doing the thing that you are supposed to be doing? So, yes, as we get into this adulthood, some people struggle with that. It doesn't come natural for them. And they put other things in front of the things that they know that they really should be doing. Yes, accountability is an internal effort that needs to be made. But sometimes you need the external support to help you get to a place where you can hold your own self accountable. Because accountability stops the drift. And listen, drifting really feels dramatic. It kind of sneaks up on you. It feels like a day off that becomes a week, a goal you stop mentioning out loud, a vision you slowly stop believing in that no one else knows about. Ecclesiastes 4 9 through 10 says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. You were not created to build alone. You were not created to stay accountable to yourself alone. The truth is, we need women around us who know what God has told us, what needs to be birthed out of us, and who will call us back to it when the season of our lives get heavy. Community gives your focus reinforcement, not pressure, not performance. It gives you support. The kind of support that notices when you go quiet, the kind of support that prays with you when the momentum slips, the kind that reminds you what God said when you start to forget. So before we close, I want you to sit with two questions. First, what has losing focus actually cost you? Not in a shame filled way, but honestly, what opportunities has scattered focus caused you to miss? What assignment has been sitting on the restart cycle for longer than you're willing to admit to yourself? And the second question, what would happen if you actually committed to staying focused for the next 12 weeks? What would you change in your life? Not perfect, not grinding, not hustle mode, just focused, faithful to what God has assigned to you. Consistent enough for something to actually take root, for you to see the fruit so that you can hang on to the vision. What could God build through your faithfulness if you stop restarting it every week? You do not need to become a different woman. You need systems that support the woman God already created you to be. Routines, structure, focused stewardship, and honestly, you probably need support too. That is exactly why we are beginning another 12-week leap cycle inside the Steward Wildlife community on June 1st. This is for the woman who is tired of drifting, tired of restarting, and ready to stay focused long enough to actually grow. Inside of the community, you will find accountability, implementation, structure, and a growing community of women doing this alongside of you. Because you were made to steward this well, and you don't have to figure it out alone. The link to join is in the description below, and if this video helped you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. And I will see you in the next video.